Okay, folks, welcome to Thursday Night Live. And we're going to talk stocks here for a bit. And what we want to do, the value of this time we'll spend together right now is it's Thursday evening, right? We're looking at the end of the week and we're trying to determine what looks good as on a weekly basis. Forget a daily basis. Let's talk about stocks and how they appear poised to close out the week on a weekly level, a higher level view, and we can almost divine how we're going to trade into the next coming week. So I'm going to go over a few charts that are pretty interesting to us. We've been talking about them. A few of them, honestly, I didn't pick them. They were brought to me by either members in the forum or when I do swing trading today in the mornings, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, usually Tuesdays through Friday. I'll be on tomorrow morning, so click the like button, subscribe button, all that. If you watch us on YouTube, click that bell button and get notified of when I go live, because I don't always send out emails notifying people. I don't want to get accused of spam or anything like that. So a lot of these symbols, they're brought to me. We analyze them. Some I don't like, and a number of them I do like. And when I do like them, I'll set up alerts, and we'll keep an eye on them. So we're open-minded here. I'd love to hear where you're from, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. About me, if you're new to watching me, I own the Contrarian We've been in business for 15 years, educating traders, trade alerts, commentary, analysis, coaching, forum, etc. So please, 14-day free trial offer. Don't hesitate to ask. We'll be using TrendSpider as our charting software this evening. It's a great tool for automated technical analysis. And there is a link below in the description area on YouTube. And you get a discount, CT25Z, 25% discount using CT25Z as your discount code. All right, so with that said, again, please hit that like button. I mean, don't like it, smash it, kill it. I have to go up against CNBC, which YouTube now pushes over the small independent producer of content. So it really helps me out when you hit that like button. All right, so let's get to it. So the markets have been somewhat lethargic this week, right? We're at a precipice. We are just a stone's throw away from new all-time highs on the overall market. Thank you for that like. I appreciate it. And the market is, it's very nervous, and it's rightfully so. I'm going to go over on Market Wrap with members in a short while after I'm done here. I'm not going to go too long tonight here, but I'm going to talk about the VIX and how it looks as we proceed into the Friday and possibly even next week, because the VIX flashed a doji star formation today on a daily chart. You saw the markets pull back a bit off the highs of the day. I wanted to buy. I wanted to get long of the markets. We don't have the breakout yet. We don't have the conviction. Volume's a bit light. So I'm nervous. I'm nervous to go buying right now. I would rather pay up to purchase the shares of whether it be IWM or the leveraged ETF TNA. I'd rather buy at higher prices for the chance or the higher probability of being right in my trade rather than buying into resistance and hoping that we break out and above resistance levels. The 3,000 mark on the S&P 500 is a bit concerning. And again, I'm going to go over this with members in a short while on the Market Wrap, which is going to come out around, I guess, 7:30, depending upon when we get done here. So what I'm watching for on a weekly basis, we could drill down as well to a daily chart, but right now I want to keep it high level and talk about closing out the week. How do we look as we're closing out the week? And I want to begin with the Russell 2000. Those are the small caps. And you could see here on this weekly chart that we broke out last week. This week we have a continuation move higher. Our indicators are looking pretty good. What's not to like? Great question. Let's throw up some trend lines. We have resistance up here. So I know that if I buy right now, I'm going to have resistance fairly immediately above, not too far away in percentage terms. So what worries me here is that we'll rally up and into this resistance level, and then we will pull back. So I would rather wait for a breakout above this resistance level before I get aggressively long. Does that mean I won't scratch the itch tomorrow, assuming that we put in a new daily high, or something just lights a fire under my butt to get me in to the long side on this market? It's quite possible I'll scratch the itch tomorrow. I was a stone's throw away today from getting long of the S&P 500, but it backed off the highs of the day, and that was concerning. So the Russell small caps are looking good. The other charts that we're watching here are GLNG. And this was a request by one of our viewers in the morning. And I went over it and I said, okay, let's set up an alert here. I wasn't watching it. So I figured, let's start watching it and we will keep an eye on it together. I'm going to transition here. There we go. Now I'm live. Okay. So the viewer asked, he said, listen, do me a favor, check out GLNG for me. Sure, why not? It was a quiet morning, 5 a.m. What the heck are we doing up? So I could easily go over a symbol for him. And we were watching for a breakout above weekly resistance. And we got that last week. What are we doing this week on GLNG? We're pulling back and we're doing a retest of the breakout point, meaning this now current support level, which was last week resistance. So GLNG is looking pretty good as we close out the week. It's promising as we move into the new trading week on a weekly basis. And that's that higher level view, right? Not a daily chart, not a 10-minute chart, way too volatile, weekly charts. Now, other charts that we're looking at are biotechs, LABU. Now, LABU fired off an alert to me. I think it was today. Yeah, it was today. Daily basis. And we rallied up and into the sensitivity area on this alert. So basically what the alert was telling me was that we're nearing a breakout on a daily basis on LABU. Not ready to buy here yet. As far as I'm concerned, we're at resistance, and the probability, because we're in a downtrend, is that we'll fail at this resistance level and we could pull back. I do like this support level here. I drew this manually. This is not an automated trend line here at the 33.38 level on LABU. But how do we look on a weekly basis? How are we closing out this week? We're looking pretty good. We're very close to the highs of the week. The probability of a continuation move higher into next week is fairly good. So on a weekly basis, it looks promising. Are we ready to buy just yet? No. Perhaps what we'll do with LABU, given the fact that we are consolidating nicely here, the environment's beginning to change on this leveraged ETF. And what we may do is, rather than buy the shares, is sell puts. Meaning, I'll sell a, what did we close today? We closed at 30.68. Maybe I would sell the 30 puts going out into next week using the weekly puts and bring in premium. And if I get hit, I get the shares assigned to me at a discount, assuming that we don't break the support level here, and then I may regret it. I may have to stop out. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're consolidating nicely. I think the environment's changed here for LABU, and the environment by which I would be willing to take on the risk of selling puts is reasonable. But out of the money puts to generate income, I would not buy the shares at current. I'm in a wait and see mode. Members, we'll talk about NUGT on Market Wrap. Interesting week thus far. So more to come to that on that symbol in a short while. NVIDIA, this is another one that was brought to my attention a couple of weeks ago on Swing Trading Today. And we have a confirmed breakout on NVIDIA. You can see my alert was triggered here. Let's get rid of this now. All right, it's not wanting to go away here. All right, we'll come back to this. Other charts that we're looking at are Docu. Now, Docu fired off an alert to me yesterday, and you could see on a weekly basis, we had a great week last week. We recaptured a key resistance level. That should now act as support. So I like Docu on using a weekly chart, and it may change if I drill down here on a daily chart, but we're looking at Docu on a pullback and a retest of this, what was very stiff resistance. And when I first went over it, I said, you got to be really careful before you buy this stock. Wait for the breakout because it's been really stiff resistance. We're above it now. So the coast is clear to look to go getting long of Docu. The key is to have patience. Know when to get involved with the trade. And at current, on a weekly view anyway, I'm not loving the weekly setup here. I'd wait for a pullback and a retest of the support level, which is at current. It's declining slightly at 64.77 on Docu. That would be an interesting setup, but we must close out the week above that level. If we fail to hold that support level, you need to avoid. Let's take a quick look at the daily chart. All right, so it's great that we had our weekly breakout, and daily charts do serve their purposes in that what they do is they help us identify where we have resistance above. Now, I just mentioned that using a weekly chart, I wouldn't buy the shares of Docu unless I got a pullback to key support. But using a daily chart now, what I'm able to do is say, okay, now I can formulate a strategy because without the trend lines, I couldn't do it. With the trend lines, I can. I'm looking for a breakout here above this upper band of resistance in red at around, let's call it 68.50 to be safe. I want to see a close above that resistance level, and then I would look to open up a position on Docu, probably keep a tight stop right below the lows of probably the 16th, and that was at 65.85. And if we got to pull back to that lower band of support on a weekly basis, I would look to entertain getting back involved, and that would be back down here. So Docu looking interesting into the new trading week. Another symbol that came up the other day, and I use it all the time. I frankly don't follow the new IPO issues all that much because they're very speculative. There's not a lot of data to work with for a technical analyst to analyze. But Zoom, ZM, the symbol, is looking very, very interesting. We'll go from a weekly view first. Now, on a weekly view, we broke support. That is not interesting. That is frankly concerning. So the other day when I first reviewed this chart, we were above this support level, now resistance level. But the week is not over, right? We could rally back tomorrow. But if we fail to rally back tomorrow to recapture the support level, we're looking for support at the 64.75 level on ZM. RSI remains in a downtrend. Now, on a daily chart, we are in the apex of a descending wedge formation. How do they normally get reconciled? How do they get resolved? Normally to the downside, but if we see a breakout above this upper band of resistance here, that's a signal that you want to buy the shares. So ZM, I wouldn't buy them yet. One trading day left in the week for us to recapture support. It is a long shot that we do that, meaning we recapture the 70.60 level, but maybe we will. If it doesn't, we're coming down here to 64.75 on ZM. And I have about 5 more minutes before I have to segue over into the members area. Does anybody have a symbol that would like me to go over? Do a quick analysis on? Be more than happy to do that because I appreciate you joining. There's a delay in time, so I'm allowing you folks to pop in symbols if you want. And if you could, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. And if you watch this on YouTube, click the subscribe button. Again, the bell button as well, because what that helps me to do is it helps me to reach out to you real time when I go live. This is very impromptu. I woke up this morning not planning what we're doing right now. So I'll probably do that from time to time to see when I get the best engagement. The mornings are really great. I go live at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I have people that are on with me from all over the world. And it's not a huge audience, but they're very engaged, and we're looking at the pre-market futures. It's a great time. So please join me. Click that like button and subscribe button. If you watch us on Facebook, follow me there as well. And it doesn't look like I have any symbol requests coming through. So with that, absent that, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. If you get any value, hey, Tom, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Tom, you got anything for me to go over? I'm going to go to Market Wrap in a couple of minutes. So I will go over the standard charts that we go over each night. But if you have something for me to go over right now, I'd be more than happy to do it. Thank you for those likes, folks. I really appreciate it. It helps me out so much. I mean, YouTube is a great partner. I love YouTube, but they are really... I'm doing good, Tom. Thank you. West Texas Intermediate? Okay. If you could just validate that, I have that right. Is that what you want? WTI? Laurent, PDD. Okay, my eyes are going. You wouldn't know I had LASIK back in June. Okay, so let's go to, I think Tom is requesting West Texas Intermediate Crude, but okay, good. I'll go to, let's see if it comes up here. I don't think it's going to on, no, it's not going to. TrendSpider really expanded their, the number of symbols that they host, and I'm not sure what that symbol is. So I'll go to Thinkorswim at the end there, Tom. So I'll put you in the back of the queue, and I'll get to that in a moment. I'll go over PDD. It's an ADR. You're saying it's Chinese. I can't say this name. I'm going to try though. All right, for entertainment purposes, I'm going to try to say this name. Pinduandio. Is that even close? All right, give me a thumbs up if I'm right. Give me a thumbs down if I'm wrong. All right. So what do we have here? We don't have much data here, but we could work with it. Weekly chart. Let's see whether or not we get any monthly data. No, not yet. There's not enough data in the system. All right. So we're in a rising uptrend channel, which is good. Good stuff. Great place to start. We are looking really good this week in that we are putting in higher lows, and they're holding. We have good support here at the $30 per share level. Where do we close? 34.19 this evening. So we're looking good. We have a new weekly high. We've broken out of this consolidation. Or we're beginning to. We're right there. So we're very close to a breakout here. Watch for a close. Watch for a close above 34. As a matter of fact, let's get real specific here. Watch for a close above 34.19. That was the close of the day, 34 spot. We're right there at weekly resistance. Watch for a continuation move higher on Friday. If you get that at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that 3 p.m. hour, the last few minutes of trade, if you're trading up above 34.19, it's game on. You could scratch the itch and get long of PDD. What settings do you use for trend lines? For what charting software, George? And I'll get to your question. Yeah, Crone. I went over that this morning, Tom. Yeah, that was a big reversal. Big reversal. I think we were pretty accurate on that call this morning before the markets open. It was pretty much as expected. We'll go to that chart. We'll talk about that. All right, so scratch the itch here. Just be aware that if we close above 34.19, that sets the stage for a continuation rally next week. That's good stuff. Keep in mind that you have your upper band of resistance up here. By the time we get there at around 38, 38.50, thereabouts, if you're swing trading this, book your profits up there, buy on the pullback and a probable retest of the breakout point. If you're an investor, buy and hold it until the weekly and monthly charts tell you you're seeing profit taking, you want to get out, trends broken, etc. Okay, George. So the manual trend lines, do you just do normal? Hey, George, I'm as simple as it gets, man. I keep it very, very simple. I don't do advanced. I do that. It's not just with TrendSpider. It's with everything. I like to keep everything simple. If you look at my desk right now, I have one laptop, 3 monitors, and they're not all for trading. Okay, I only use two screens for trading. Not like these guys with 8 screens and whatnot. I like to keep it simple, very, very simple. I'm not a day trader, so I like to keep things simple. I'm a swing trader. More often than not, I look at the symbols on my phone. To your question, though, advanced. I don't use advanced. I just use TrendSpider out of the box. I'm a big believer in and this is what got me together with TrendSpider. I met the Team TrendSpider, over at the Certified CMT Convention, Certified Market Technicians Convention in Manhattan last year. And we got together and we formed a partnership, and I promote them quite a bit, like the blue, green, and red lines, that there are TrendSpider houses that you go. Oh, all right. Well, you can edit the trend lines. You can edit the trend lines. Like, watch. If you want to clean it up a bit, suppose this is too noisy, and frankly, it is, right? So what you could do here is, let's do a hypothetical. You want to clean it up, remove that trend line. If you don't need this one right now, remove that trend line. This one you still need, the red one, because you may get a pullback and a retest, and you'll want to see that act as support. So it's important. This manually drawn one here, I'm going to keep, because it's a rising upper band of support. If we hit it, that may be a buy signal. If we break it, I want out if I were longer this position. So hopefully I'm answering your questions, George, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit further. We're on a daily chart, right? So what you could do here is, let's start from scratch. Let's take the trend lines off, right? No trend lines. So let's do what I like to do. Multi-time frame analysis. You can use all the indicators you want in the world. What matters most to me is price and volume. Price and volume matter most. Everything else is secondary, a far second place concern. So what I want to do on a daily chart is, I may be analyzing this chart, and I'm just going to use my manually drawn upper band of resistance here and lower band of support. But on this chart, I want to know, because this is the discipline, I want to know where my weekly resistance is. So I come up here, select weekly, I click the trend line, and now I know, okay, if I break out and close above this upper band of resistance, I know that I have resistance up here. I have a really good risk-reward trade on my hands here, and thank you for bringing this to my attention. I just may trade it. is if we close above 34.19, we know we have resistance up here again. We talked about this earlier, around the 38 to 38.50 level, because that trend line is rising, so that upper band of resistance will continue to increase. The longer it takes to get there, the higher the price will be. So if you want to overlay the daily trend lines, they'll come up in solid line. The secondary weekly resistance levels and support levels on a daily chart will come up as a dashed line. And if I go to a weekly chart, well, this is not going to be a good chart to do because there's no monthly data. If I go to a weekly chart, you can see now those upper bands of resistance now turn solid, because these are weekly resistance and support levels on a weekly chart. I don't think there's any monthly data here to use. There isn't. There's not enough history on this stock. Let's bring up another stock and we'll use that. We'll use IWM, not a stock and ETF. All right, so this is messy. So you can see here on a weekly basis, I want to overlay weekly resistance levels. There they are. Okay. Now I want to identify where I have monthly resistance. Whoa, look at this chart. I didn't even see this before. So these are my monthly overlays on a weekly chart, and you could see that we are very close to a monthly breakout on the IWM above this upper band of resistance, despite the fact that we're still considerably well off the highs of the IWM. So this setup is looking good. George, hopefully I answered your question. And are you looking for, if you're looking for the best plan to go with, I would review their pricing packages and reach out to Jake over at TrendSpider. He's really, really good, very, very attentive. They get back to me in a heartbeat. So I would reach out to them. If you want a discount, if you are watching this on YouTube, click the good point, Tom. Thank you. Very good point. I'm going to talk about that next. Click the link below. Use CT25Z as a discount code. Get 25% off. All right. So Tom just brought up a good point, and this is the value of live streaming, and this is why I like it so much, is that I'm talking about a bullish setup here using a weekly chart with monthly resistance. But Tom just pointed out, hey, listen, note that you have a rising lower band of support on IWM as well. If this fails, well, then this IWM is shot. We're going a lot lower. So we still have roughly 15 days left in the month, a little bit less, give or take. We have weekends, whatnot. So a lot more trading time left in the month for anything to happen. And that's why I'm being so cautious with getting long of this market. I believe that it's going to break out, but I'm being very, very cautious. I want to see breakouts, and we're not getting them. And that's my concern. Okay, so let's go to Thinkorswim. I mean, Thinkorswim. I'm getting tired, folks. Long day. What I did today is I went to Junior Achievers. I mentored a classroom of kids about finance, about good debt, bad debt, etc. And it was really just a great thing, because they don't teach children in public schools finance. They don't teach them basic 101 of finance, nothing about debt. And it was really a lot of great time spent. I spent about 6 hours up in front of a classroom. I had a partner, but I'll tell you, Junior Achievers, I suggest if you want to give back to a community, join up with them. Great, great people over there. And I got free pizza for lunch. Yeah, Tom, we're on the same page. I agree. We're very cautious. Tom is a member, so he gets my thought process, and we're on the same page. All right, let's go to, we have the Brent, is West Texas, we'll go with lights. Wow. You know, crude oil had an interesting session today. You had a very, very big build in in supplies, in storage. Yesterday, it was reported after hours. Oil tanked, pardon the pun, and it bounced back today. So if that's not a tell, I don't know what is. So we're still, this is a weekly chart here. We're still down on the week, but you could see that these Bollinger Bands, they're tightening up here. We had a breakout on a weekly basis last week. No new weekly high yet this week, but the week's not over, right? So we're off the lows of the week. We are seeing higher lows, the beginning of higher lows on RSI. No breakout to speak of on a weekly basis. So the weekly chart is looking interesting. Would I be a buyer here yet? I don't know. I don't have enough data. Let's drill down. Let's go through a daily chart. All right, so here's our breakout out of this downtrend channel. Right here, follow through, failure. Then today, here's that bullish key reversal on horrible news, bad news. When you get price action like this on bad news, we need to pay attention to this commodity, especially with the US dollar. Let's bring up the dollar for a moment, because the dollar is weak and getting weaker. So for those not familiar with the correlation of crude and the dollar, they haven't been tick for tick inverse for a long time now. Oil had been going up along with the US dollar, but now that you have the dollar, which has declined, because remember, oil is priced in US dollars. You have the dollar, which is in decline, and I predict it's going a lot lower. You're going to probably see a bid under oil. So you had bad news, you had a higher crude build, yet oil still rallied. Could it be the dollar and it's weakening? There's a good chance. On a weekly basis, the dollar is breaking down. A quick look. Here's that weekly view. We are breaking down and breaking down really hard on the dollar. Now, we're a bit oversold on a daily basis. Back to oil. Tom, we'll do a deeper dive on this in the morning as well, and maybe even on market wrap. Let's go with light sweet again. Let's drill down to a 4-hour basis. So the new trading session is open in the futures. So the overnight session so far, we have a continuation move higher, and we are pulling back here a bit. So I think it looks good. I think it looks good. So we'll keep an eye on it, Tom. I'm not ready to pull the trigger here yet, but I'm liking it. And with that, folks, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so very much for joining. Again, please click that like button, subscribe button, follow button, leave a comment, share with a friend. I really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. And members, if you're out there, I want to start doing market wraps, so expect that within the next half hour or so. I'll keep it brief. Thanks all. Have a great night.